Are you guys close at all? I mean,
Yeah.
You are. You like each other or not? Not so much.
I've always liked them.
Yeah, I liked them. I've learned to like them, I think. No.
Yeah.
No, we besides having good backgrounds, Italian and Polish, I think similar backgrounds.
It's very similar.
We've also been, both of us have the honor of coaching the U.S. national teams, and I think your ancestors and mine would be pretty proud of that.
My father used to, when he was alive, used to ask me, how are you going to pay for your house? I said, well, I have a job. And he goes, well, what happens when there's no more games? I go, what do you mean when there's no more games? He said, the season ends and we haven't. He goes, no, when there's no more games. Because he worked in a factory. And one year they came in, they just closed the factory. So he thought they would come in, just close UConn. Right. It said no more games.
I can identify. You
know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Now, how special were the most recent championships? We'll start with you, Coach K. It had been a little bit of a time, but not a long stretch. And I watched you and your wife standing under the basket after you guys won. And you guys seem to be soaking it in, like really trying to save it. What did this one mean to you?
Well, first of all, for basketball, college basketball, if you win it once, it's rarefied air. So if there's if someone's saying, well, it took a while before you get another one, then that means you got one before, or maybe a few before. So you savor each one. And with this particular team, we only had 8 guys, and 4 of them were freshmen. So the way they bonded and how much they loved one another, and then the way they played in March and April, they were deserving. But a little bit shocking to me that they were able to be that good, and they were. I love coaching them.
And Geno, I've always been curious from your end of it. When Mike coaches a player, they're going to go on to mega stardom in the NBA, make lots of money. There are going to be a few women that you coach that have the opportunity in the WNBA, but vast majority won't. So does that change the way you go about things? Is your preparing them for the future different than it would be for Mike?
I think in some ways, because while they're at Duke, they're regular college kids, just like my kids are at UConn. What their experience is going to be after they leave is so much different.
Right.
My kids play over here in the league, then they'll go over in Europe and spend 6 months playing over there, and their life is just a lot different. And they probably don't have the kind of pressures that come with you're the lottery pick, you're the first pick, and you got millions and millions, and all the things that go with that comes with it. And I think you need to be prepared for that. And I think they do a great job, at Duke of doing that. And, on our end, it's on a much, much smaller scale. So we don't have the issues that I think that they have to deal with.
Geno, I wonder about you. I mean, you have 10 national championships. If you don't win one, oh, my God, that must be an inordinate amount of pressure on you.
Well, that's what I was saying on the way over here. I said I've really learned to appreciate the Yankees, because it's like the season starts when the World Series starts, and if you win it was a good year. If you don't win, it was a lousy year. The bar is set so high that I think it works in your favor, believe it or not. I think when the bar is set really high, you tend to live up to those expectations that you have for yourself and other people have for you. Is it hard? It gets hard at times. When every time you lose a game, it's what did you do wrong, not that the other team played great. And that's the one part that's changed. I don't know how Mike feels in the social media, that when you lose, it's you did something wrong and you need to explain it. Well, what about the other guys? They're pretty good. I'm like,
no, they are. I think that what happens is they're like, if you lose, it's going to be a bigger story than if you win.
No question.
Right.
No question.
But that's good, and I think it's one of the reasons why we're prepared to coach the U.S. team, because you're expected to win every game. And forget about exhibition. It doesn't make any difference. You're expected to win. So you're under, I don't know, pressure. I'd rather have that pressure than not having a good team and trying to win. So you have that level of expectation that you have to live up to.
Now, Mike, how different was it for your team this year? Even though you didn't have to play Kentucky in the championship game, it was all about Kentucky through the tournament. I mean, there were people that thought that they could Larry Brown thought they could make the playoffs in the NBA. I mean, that's what they were talking about with Kentucky. This team can go out and win 40 games in the NBA. Did you feel there was less spotlight on you because there was so much focus on what Kentucky was doing being undefeated?
Yeah, no, I never have worried. We get enough spotlight.
Right.
I think that Kentucky, it was good for college basketball because you focused on a school or a team and not a player. For a few years, I think, in men's college basketball, we've gotten to be promoted like the NBA, where it's Carmelo against Kobe and stuff like that. So I thought that was good. I also thought that Wisconsin and us and Michigan State benefited from being in a league that was tougher. I'm not knocking the Southeast Conference. They're always really good, but they weren't the level of the Big Ten or the ACC this year. So I'm not sure Kentucky they had close games, but they didn't play in conference the level of teams that each of the other three teams in the Final Four did.
Great leaders in any walk of life, they adapt. I would assume, I don't want to put words in your mouth, you're certainly here and you could correct me, I don't think that you're in love with one and done. Duke is an academic institution. But if you're not going to do one and done in college basketball, you're going to have a hard time competing. Is it distasteful for you to recruit a kid and think, I'm just getting him for 1 year? He's not really going to experience this great education that my school could give him.
Well, I think a lot of people miss the boat, and but we're not fortune tellers, or everyone's going to be one and done. Like, we have 3 kids who went early this year, and one we knew was going to go because if he didn't go to college, he would have been a top pick, Okafor. The other 2 were not thinking of one and done when the year started. It just that it turned out that way. And I think if any college students, you'd be surprised on college campuses at some of the great schools how many kids do not finish their degrees because they get involved at the end of their sophomore year in a .com or in some type of innovative thing, and all of a sudden they're making a lot of money. So the main thing is that they love the school, they go to school while they're there, and they maintain a relationship with Duke, and we have that. So as long as we have that, I'm happy with it.